Welcome. Good morning, everyone. Sawatdee Tan Chao. Sawatdee Cup. Today is a holiday in Thailand. It is Coronation Day. And I know that it's a holiday because my wife is home. She didn't have to wake up and go to work right away. And even though she didn't know what holiday it is, I looked and it's Coronation Day, which is a national holiday here in Thailand. Uh, so today, what are we going to talk about? We are going to talk about the truth about Farang Thai marriages. So the reason I'm talking about this is, I got a couple of ideas from guys. Yesterday, Tokyo Sam gave me an idea about this guy in Japan who I don't know what his deal is, but supposedly he's thinking about marrying some chick, some working girl, and I don't mean working in an office or at a, she's not a secretary at a construction company. I mean, the other kind. Um, and then I got a message from another guy, Mr. Carnivore Chronicles. And, I've heard this before, and even my friend Tom said something. He said, oh, you should go to what is it, the old Patia News where they had all these letters and stuff like that, because I don't get as many letters as I used to. I think some people are apprehensive about writing me. Some people, they don't know that I would actually read their letter and give them some feedback, whether good or bad. And that's the thing. A lot of people don't want to hear the truth. And I will tell you what I think is the truth, whether it's good or bad, but at least you'll know. So, anyway, that's what we're going to talk about today. Like I said, it's a holiday all day long today, so a lot of people will be home. But there's a couple of things that I wanted to talk about here, because I started out, I just have this one particular article that I wanted to read. But there's quite a few articles about relationships between foreigners and Thais. And I've tried to find some concrete statistics about success rates and who ends up getting married. And the bottom line is, a lot of times the girls tend to come from Isan because they're from a poor region, and they want to do the George Jefferson, they want to move it on up. It's not always the case, like in my case. I know several people who are married to Southern women. The guy comes in here every once in a while, Steven. He's married to a Southerner. There's another guy. He's very well known here in Thailand, a Westerner that I know, and he's married to a Southerner. So that's not always the case, but apparently, before I get into the main article, I'll talk about this article that was released about 6 years ago. So my wife is home. I don't know if you can hear her. Whoa. Anyway, I tried to keep the K-pop and the La Lisa music down. I told her you can't be playing that stuff damn it, while I'm online. No respect. Get no respect. Um, she's got her own things going on. I am actually going to a yoga class today because my hands and my joints are so sore. I went to the gym yesterday, and now, it's a cumulative effect. I slept really well last night, but I am sore and in a bit of pain, and so I figure a yoga class, and then sit-ups and all that kind of stuff. I'm not going to have to use I'm not going to put a lot of pressure on my joints. So I'm going to go, and then she's going to go as well. It's all about finding common ground in a relationship. For some couples, that's just sex and money. Much better to find lots of other common ground, however, to increase your chances of success. Yeah, I mean, you know, a lot of people just go, oh, well, you know, it's all about the money. The money doesn't always keep a person in a place, or it certainly doesn't keep them happy in the relationship. It may keep them happy when it comes to, hey, I get to go buy this Gucci bag or whatever it may mean. I get to take care of my family because, you know, this guy, he always gives me money or whatever it might be. But the bottom line is, it takes more than that. You want to come in here? Come here, Sid. Come here. Meow, meow. Meow, 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 meow. Come on. Come on in here. Come on. He does not usually come into my... Come here. Could you close the door, please? Jesus Christ. We got the sink going. We got all kinds of stuff going on. Okay, here's my little kitty cat. He's on my shit list right now. Yeah, you know it, don't you? He always wants to come in my office, and I don't want him to come in my office. Isn't that right, young man? Yeah. Anyway. Sid's a little terror. Go on your merry way. Get out of here.
Hi.
Hi. Hey, hello.
Go to the temple today. So.
Are you going to the temple?
Yeah.
You're not going to go do yoga?
No,
Who's that? One of your little...
Sujani, phone.
Oh. Phone. So phone talked you out of going to yoga and going to the fucking gym.
I'm going to the gym first and then I'll go to the temple.
So what, you're not going to be able to stick around or what?
No.
What time are you going to the temple?
Should be by 1, so I have to leave at 12. So
Well,
I'm going to the gym now.
your wife was gone for days and now your hands are sore. I think I know what that means. Leave it to 2/4 Asian to say something like that. It's not necessarily my hands. My hands have been sore for years, but they're really sore now from grabbing the heavy weights, not from grabbing something else. And it's more my wrist and my elbows. My joints are a bit sore. So hopefully, well, now I'm going to yoga alone, which is okay, whatever. It doesn't matter to me because I'm going to the fucking gym. But to her credit, she went to the gym with Alex last night. At what time was it? Like 8 o'clock? Mm-hmm. Yeah, 8 o'clock at night until about 10. So, anyway, you know, I don't want to get into the whole, you know, well, what does it take to be successful? It takes 2 willing people. And I'm going to read this first article here. It's Isan Love Triangle, Thai Men Found Lacking by Farang Loving Women. Now, that could be construed in many different ways. However, just to get to the gist of this subject, it tends to have a lot to do with the men not being faithful in the villages and also not always being stable, not always having money, and living in poverty, and they don't want that. And so I'm just going to read a little paragraph here. We're done with Thai men, Pacharin said. She was told by one of the Thai wife's mothers who had encouraged her daughter to divorce her Thai husband and marry a foreigner. It's not just about money, but they're unfaithful and always cheating on women. They don't take responsibility for their family and never had enough money to take care of their wife and kids. A 2004 government survey found just shy of 20,000 Isan women married to foreigners, 87% of which were to Westerners from Europe, North America, Australia, or New Zealand. Half of the women were in Udon Thani, Konkan, and Nakhon Ratchasima provinces. Those marriages seem to involve most of the foreigners living in Isan. The 2010 census found 90% of the slightly more than 27,000 foreigners living in the northeastern region were married to women from there. Well, I mean, you can go and live there because, oh, it's a great place and it's cheap. It's cheaper than Bangkok and all that. But, honestly, uh, I don't think I would want to live there for very long. Uh, Simply because to me it's a bit boring. And if you're not there with someone, then it's kind of like, you're okay. I guess if you're into being alone and you that's what you want, you just want to be alone, you want to be at peace, well, maybe it's a good thing. But Isan men were not likely to abandon their undesirable habits of drinking and partying away family funds while cheating on their spouses, because those displays were essential to their idea of manliness. Although Thai women then cite these reasons for not marrying them, Thai men, especially the younger ones in the village, would say that their actions were normal. It may be normal, but that doesn't make it right, you know. They continued to insist that Thai women married Farang only for the money, not because of Thai men's masculine culture. Listen, I got news for you. There's a host of reasons why Thai women marry foreigners, and while money is definitely part of it for some of them, maybe they just get sick and tired of guys who are drinking in the village, or they don't do anything and they never make any money, and they don't even have enough money to pay the rent or whatever. And then when they do, they piss it away. They get sick of that shit. Although the continued insistence risked Thai men being passed over for Farang men, few Isan men expressed a willingness to change their habits, the researcher said. A negative self-image doesn't help. Isan men see themselves as bad options for Thai women. They think their unstable work and poverty makes Thai women not want to marry them. Well, so what are you going to do about it? I mean, I get it. And at least they're honest about it. But I can tell you this negative self-image, I've seen it with numerous Thai men who you would think, they're young, they're virile, they're healthy, they're in great shape. I'm talking about fighters that I've seen, and they don't have a real great image of themselves. They just think, oh well, I'll never be great. They just have this self-defeating talk, which, I mean, it's easier to have that self-defeating talk than being positive and saying, listen, I'm not perfect, but I got some good qualities. I mean, that's, you have to. Otherwise, you're walking around just thinking that you're a piece of shit. And what good is that? What does that do for you? And I've heard it said that really any negative self-talk at all, eventually it sinks in and you truly believe that. I mean, I believe I'm shaped more like a square or a barrel than like I used to be, which was like this. But that doesn't mean I don't think that changes could be made. You know what I mean? I'm getting to that. That's the gist of what I'm saying. And so some of these guys, I don't know. Maybe it depends on their upbringing and everything. Don't you think? Yeah. So let me go on here. Yeah, the other thing is still infidelity can cut both ways. Marrying a Farang man doesn't make women off limits to Thai men. Enter the gig mia Farang, or the casual sex partner of a woman married or dating a foreign man. In rural communities, a gig mia Farang can be admired for accessing the wealth and comfort of a woman married to a foreigner without working for it. Yeah, okay. Whatever. See how long that shit flies with me. A Western man, number one complaint about women, gold digging 304. Yeah. All I can say is, if you're smart and you want to get involved in some kind of a relationship here in Thailand, it's entirely possible, and you don't have to have some woman on par with what seems to be becoming more of a norm in the United States, which is women who, it's like, listen, I don't care if I'm 250 pounds. I still deserve that guy who's making a $500,000 a year. I'm beautiful. I'm sexy. Don't you dare. I saw this absolute, what did I say yesterday? Eating their way to pigdom. I saw this chick on some, I don't remember what the name of the channel was. It was one of those ones. She was sitting around with like 4 other girls, and this guy was talking to her about, oh, do you have any problem with men? Well, it turned out that she was a man who had become a woman, a man who transitioned. I still view her as a man, but he, whatever, was an absolute hideous, was a pig. And I don't say that to degrade the person. I'm just being honest. The thing was as big as a house. And she's talking about, oh yeah, I get whatever I want. I get whatever guy I want. Well, you must be setting your standards pretty low, honey, because you were ugly as sin. And I just think to myself, what? We're living in listen, what's the guy's, what was it Phil Collins or was it Genesis? We're living in a land of illusion. Well, I think we're living in a land of delusion. Because, I don't know about here. Maybe this will happen here eventually. By then I should be old as hell and not give a shit. I already don't give a shit. I don't care what goes on. They want to be like that. The women, 50% of the women are freaking ending up alone. They're ending up alone crying. Oh, it's the land of confusion. Is that what it is? Well, it's the land of delusion. That's Americans, and at least a fair share of American women. Because, I see women, I go, God damn, I would, even on my drunkest night, I wouldn't even give them any consideration. And, I don't try to put myself up there, oh, I'm the most handsome guy. I deserve, a supermodel. No, that's not the way I think. But when you see some chick who, like, you go, or, used to be chick, and they're talking about how they deserve this and they deserve that because I'm going to be good to my man. I'm going to do this. I'm going to cook him a meal and, yeah, big deal. And it's all gravy. It's all icing on the cake. Seriously, that's what it is. You get yourself a good woman who you can talk to, you can be yourself with, that you're attracted to, and that who, she cares about you, and you care about her. And, what more do you want? And the women, it seems like from what I see in the States, they don't care about that. When I was growing up, I'll be honest, when I was growing up, it was be a nice guy, be a gentleman, and, take care of yourself, look halfway decent, and you will eventually find some. That's how it works, because you find yourself a good girl. Well, it doesn't seem that way nowadays. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. Granted, there are exceptions. But I think, there's too much delusion and too little reality. And some of these, and the thing is there are always guys out there that they just want to bang some chick. They don't care what she looks like so much. They just care about, does she smell halfway decent? Can I get it in? And, can I get mine? But then guess what? All the girl is a sperm bucket. That's it. She's nothing else. Yeah, good luck with that, General. Good luck with Fern. And quite honestly, she's a chick just like any other chick. You think she wouldn't piss you off sometimes in a marriage? Of course she would.
You think she'd be the ideal woman and she would never, ever bridge up and get cranky with you? Of course she will. It happens. I would say, just from my own experience and from what I know is, and I'm not the easiest guy to get along with, right? I don't know where she is. But then again, sometimes neither is she. But you know, it doesn't necessarily mean you just go, okay, well, that's it. Done. I'm going to go on Instagram and find somebody else. You know. Down to earth women are the best. A woman who only loves herself can't love you. Well, my number one rule, my 100th number one rule, if you go to a chick's Instagram or her Facebook and every picture is of herself, don't, just have your fun and move the fuck on. I don't think so, Gennaro. All right, let me get to this. Let me just say, okay. So I talk about this stuff about, you know, the double standards and the gig and the cock and the dit. Women in this situation are seen as lacking virtue and being sexually insatiable for having two men, while the Thai men are seen as cool, macho playboys. Oh Jesus Christ! And, you know, whatever. It does. You're not a macho playboy if, you know, you got some chick on the side who's not happy with her husband and she's bailing and she's doing things that, by society standards, whether Thai or U.S. standards, it's not okay. If your old lady, whether she's a girlfriend or a wife, stepping out on you, it's not okay. Good morning, Carlos. By the way, I have put up the photos of the temple, Wat Don Muat temple, that Carlos was working so hard on. I finally got a couple photos up and a video of the place, and it actually, the place looks like a temple. It didn't look like that. If you look at the very beginning, it looked like some old dilapidated house. Now it actually looks like a temple. Anyway, please do me a favor. Oh, you are. What's today? The 4th. Well, I'm leaving in about a month. Not quite a month. But 3 weeks. So I have to figure something out. Anyway, what was I going to say here? Oh. No matter how you slice it, if some chick is stepping out on you, they may say, oh, it's no problem, no problem. It is a problem. That's how people get shot. That's how people get beaten. That's how things happen to them. You know, you get in the middle of a marriage and pain is usually inflicted, or something happens that is detrimental to not only the relationship, but the involved parties' lives. You know, don't be a home wrecker. I mean, have some integrity. And you know, if you are with a woman who doesn't have that kind of integrity, then maybe she shouldn't be your girlfriend or wife. Bye. See you later. Stay out of trouble. Stay out of trouble at the temple, honey.
No, I'm going to gym first.
Well, stay out of trouble at the gym, too. What are you going to do today?
Walk.
Nothing. Do the rowing machine. That's my favorite. That's my favorite, but I'm into the Aerodyne machine. I really like that a lot. I like those Stairmaster things. I don't particularly like the Stairmaster, but I do like the rowing machine, the bike, and the Aerodyne bike. I like those. I don't know why, but I really like them. Her bull and bucking bronco riding skills must be up to snuff, mark of a good woman. Well, how'd she get that way there, Gennaro? How'd she get so talented and skilled? You know, you can't expect the world from them right away, but like I always say, a good Thai woman is like a flower. Or a good woman is like a flower. You start to get to know her. She starts to open up. You know, you have your fun, and just things get better as time passes because she opens up, and you know, she's not so shy. She's not so scared to be herself. Some women, you know, they naturally they get turned on, and some, what, for whatever reasons. Uh, what are you doing? You hear that? You know, they tend to be extremely talented. Some women are more talented than others, naturally or after after lots of practice. What are you doing? Fucking cat's a maniac. He just slammed himself up against the door. All right, so let me go. What I was going to say is, do me a favor before we continue. Click the thumbs up if you haven't done so already. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed already. I appreciate that. Today, the Thai baht 33.83. That's as of 8:55 a.m. Air quality is quite good, 56 today, which is moderate. Temperature right now, 91 degrees Fahrenheit, high of 98, low of 83. The feel like temperature is 102 degrees. 67% humidity, and this was, again, as of about 30 minutes ago. I did some rowing machine earlier today. Good workout. It's fantastic. Gennaro, do a kilometer. Do 1,000 meters and let me know your time. I did something like 4:15 yesterday, which I think was my best ever time. I do that, like, I need to get into the longer rowing, but eventually I will. I'm doing a lot. I'm doing a lot of different things. Like today, like I said, I'm doing yoga. I am not used to yoga, and it can be painful. Good morning, Mr. Andy. So, you know, we talk about the thing about, you know, Isan and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, 1,000 a kilometer. But in here, you know, I've got this article. This one's about 5 years old. Actually, it'll be 5 years old in 20 days. UK man's idyllic life in Thailand turns to nightmare in one fit of passion. Now, one thing that seems to be the norm is that people who are on drugs, and I'm talking about especially the yaba, it could be something else. People who are on drugs, I mean, I'm talking, they're heavily into it. I'm not talking about some guy who puffs a doobie or something. And especially people who drink too much and they can't handle their alcohol. They're not a happy drunk. They're not the guy who falls asleep. They're not the guy who is just, he's okay. There's no problem. They get angry. These kind of people are the ones who cause a lot of these issues where they end up killing someone in passion, or you know, they run somebody over and then they drive away. They do something stupid. Or they walk down you know, like in Soy Bangla, screaming out that they hate Thai people or something like that. You know, and then they wonder why they took a beating. Or they're in, what is it, Chayapum, in some village, and they are swearing and saying bad words about, and saying bad things about Thai people. And then when they get jumped, you know, it's like, I mean, I understand why that happened, that particular case. I understand, of course. People don't want to put up with that bullshit. So why don't you, all it takes is a little bit of respect. So if you're going to drink, be smart. Anyway, yeah, click the thumbs up. That would be nice. Go down in the description. Check out all the ways you can help support the channel. And follow me on Rumble. That's the backup. It's still, it says it may take weeks to transfer everything. Which I find interesting, I guess, because I didn't know it took that long. But I guess they have a lot of people uploading, and you know, slows down their system. I don't know. Anyway, if you want to go to Rumble, it's just an American in Bangkok. You can just rumble.com/an American in Bangkok. But to continue, this guy supposedly had an idyllic life. He's got, it looks like there's 3 kids. Now, I don't know. It's very difficult to see what she looks like, but they're calling her a stunningly beautiful Thai woman. She looks to be attractive, you know. I don't know if she's got kids or what the kids, where they came from, because she looks pretty fit. She looks all right. I mean, you know, for most guys, she would be a keeper, at least from her looks. So, it says here, one commentator blames toxic online commentary on Thai women marrying foreigners for an appalling tragedy that unfolded in Ubon Ratchathani. Living a life of luxury in sunny Thailand with a stunningly beautiful Thai woman is something most middle-aged Western men can only dream about. However, it turned into an absolute nightmare for UK man Kevin Smitham in Ubon Ratchathani province in Thailand last month, and it's not going to end anytime soon. One minute he was relaxing with his beautiful wife, the mother of their 3 children, eating and drinking beer. The next he was placing a blanket over her dead body before returning to his bed and trying to pretend what was happening was simply a drink-fueled nightmare. It was not. Early the next morning, police located Mr. Smitham at the back of the house. In the warm light of a sunny day in Thailand, it became apparent to everyone that he had killed the woman of his dream and mother of his children. Thailand does something to foreigners and expats. It definitely does. There's something about this culture that it changes people. And for most people, it changes them for the better. For some people, it does not. And I was thinking that one of the problems is that let me rephrase that. One of the issues is that some foreigners who live here tend to think that they are head and shoulders better than Thais. And I think if you just think about it as they do things differently, there may not be, they may not do things the way that you do it or that you think is best, for sure. But it's their way. And so who are you to tell them how to do things? I think the government can do much better, but guess what? I have no say. I think the government in the United States could do much better, but I don't live there. And, you know, I'm not about to go back, I'm going to make the changes I'm going to make changes that are going to save the world. No, I'm not. Quite frankly, all I can do is deal with myself. That's enough. Myself, my family, and, you know, fortunately they can deal with themselves now quite well. And so, what does it matter? All right. The Sun, exotic lifestyle, and Thai women seem to go heads the Sun, exotic lifestyle, and Thai women seems to go to heads of some foreign expats. All right, not exactly. It is the reason why so many are opting to settle in Thailand. Unfortunately, the warm and sunny weather and the welcoming nature of Thai people towards foreigners can lead many of them into a false sense of security or even entitlement. There you go. The difference in culture between Thailand and Western cultures is often the trigger point for misunderstanding or misjudgments, which can lead on to tragedy. It is also the case that the expat culture in the states surrounding Western foreigners can attract the wrong type of people from Western countries, particularly those attracted to the large number of beautiful women in Thailand and the sex industry. 2 UK men in the last few months have been involved in killing 2 Thai women in separate incidents. They were 2 UK men from very different backgrounds, but unfortunately they have damaged the image of foreigners in the country. Okay. Bizarre and violent behavior reinforces a negative stereotype. Well, here's one thing that I have to say. Yeah, they can be. For one thing, when a foreigner commits a crime against a Thai, it's going to be in the news. If they commit a serious crime, especially, it's going to be all over the news. When a Thai person commits a crime against a Thai person, it may be in the news. But you can be sure if it's a foreigner, it's going to be in the news. Now, we got this woman who killed all these people with cyanide, making her the most prolific female serial killer, I believe, in Southeast Asia. So it's not only the foreigners who are doing these things, which really, they need to say this. Now, this article comes from the Thai Examiner, which is an English publication in Thailand. But the profile of foreigners, particularly Westerners, is being damaged with regular reports of foreigners falling foul of the law in the Kingdom Smiles. While most Thai people think of foreign Westerners as generous and good-humored people or grouchy curmudgeons, who bring investment to the country as expats and revenue as tourists, there is always a negative perception of foreigners as violent, aggressive, and likely to transgress Thai laws. I don't think that at all. There may be this impression from Thai people, but I don't really think that that's the case with most foreigners. Most of the foreigners I know, they're too busy in their own shit. They don't care about what goes on, and some of them can be assholes. I mean, complete assholes for real no reason, but not to the point where they push a situation into violence. And quite frankly, if somebody was to commit some act of violence against somebody for absolutely no reason, or just because some Thai guy called them a Farang or something like that, that's not really the kind of person I want to hang out with. There is also the perception among many Thai people that foreigners can be unpredictable and aggressive. It's a culture thing. Thai people value calmness and the control of emotions, at least as an aspiration. To many Western foreigners, there is merit in being direct and even sometimes abrasive. As a rule, this does not work in Thailand and is at the root of all trouble for foreigners in the country. Unfortunately, we see many horror stories involving Western foreigners in Thailand. This particular woman who was murdered by this guy, they had been partying over the Songkran festival, and there were they had gone to the Songkran festival. They went away. They were relaxing. This guy got drunk. Apparently, he became aroused. His wife resisted his advances, and an argument flared up. During the exchange, Kevin Smitham formed a view that his Thai wife was being unfaithful to him and involved with other men. He hit her and she fell to the ground. He later told Thai police that he began to kick her and even strangled her. The unfortunate woman, they wrote the unfortunate women. The unfortunate woman ran from the house, already injured, but slumped down outside the ground. Bizarrely, her husband followed her and laid a blanket over her body before retiring to sleep. So that's an instance of some not so happily ever after. It is the news, Gennaro. I can paint everything as a picture of happiness, or I can paint it as a picture of reality. If you want to succeed in a different culture, you have to adapt and become flexible. You are going to go against the grain. In other words, you can still keep your own values, but you can't impose them on others. Thank you. And that is one thing that I would say, is that while I am not always 100% pleasant to Thai people, or to whether they're Thai or whatever nationality, usually there's a reason. I don't just, if I'm in a bad mood, which it happens sometimes, but I don't, usually if I'm in a bad mood, I put my headphones on, I just ignore people. It's when I get pestered and I'm in a bad mood, then I'm like, hey, knock it off. But I don't get to the point where I'm like, let me punch this guy. Even though in my head I might think, I'd love to just crack this guy. But I don't do that. And I have learned, slowly but surely over the years, life is cheap, and in Asia it's always Black Friday. The best advice I'd give would be shut up, maintain a low profile, don't get involved in any physical altercations, mind your own business, and don't be a hero for any reason. There it is there. Haven't I said that many, many times? Keep a low profile. As low as you can keep. When I go out, I'm not walking around strutting around like, hey, that shit don't stink, man. I'm a foreigner. I live in Thailand. Look at me. Man, just leave me alone. I just don't want to be bothered by people most of the time. I want to live in my own little head, my little bubble, I got my own things going on. We have our own things going on here. That's enough for me. I'm busy enough. And that's the thing. If you're truly busy, if you have things that you are concentrating on, what are you worried about what other people are doing? I've said that a million times. I've said it about, with the gender thing and a lot of other topics. Most of the time, mind your own business. Don't worry about what other people do. You don't need to stick your face in because some guy is yelling at a woman. You don't need to stick your beak in their business. How do you know? How do you know what's going on? You may not like what you see, but guess what? It's not your business. Exactly. If you become involved, you automatically become the enemy. Well, think about it. How many times, and this happened to me once, many, many years ago in Walnut, California, there's a big hill that you had to go over in order to get to Walnut from, I think it was Covina. And, I'm going over the hill, and I was walking, and it was like a 2-mile walk, 3-mile walk, but I wanted to do it, and, I used to do it all the time. And so I'm walking, and I see this guy on the side of the road, like with his hands around this chick's throat. And he's screaming at her. And he kind of was, shoving her around and stuff. And I just go, hey, what the fuck's going on here? And the girl says to me, leave us alone. Don't worry, I'm fine. Shut up and leave, or something like that. And I was like, son of a bitch. That's happened several times. Swing first, shoot first. Well, swing first is a good one. If anybody steps near you, gets in your range, try to end it if you can. But, most of the time, it's just not worth it, because there's always some guy who's going to go, bam, and they're going to go, oh, that's how you want to play it? Or there's some guy who's going to, wrap his legs around your neck and strangle you. You just don't know. So it pays to just de-escalate and get out of Dodge. Don't be a white knight simp. Agreed. Yeah. All right. So this guy, it says here, domestic abuse in Thailand is common, but this was a foreigner. Rates of domestic abuse in Thailand have shown a dramatic increase in recent years, as have levels of divorce in Thai families. A 2013 report by Mahidol University pointed towards socioeconomic factors, with a 2012 figure showing nearly 31% of families had witnessed abuse. I've seen it here several times, and I kept my nose out of it. It has also been suggested that in Thailand, many Thai women who are victims of abuse are often themselves blamed if the incident occurs. Yep. Thailand's macho society means many Thai men assume the right to beat their wives. Such behavior is, of course, less acceptable in modern or middle-class families and marriages involving foreigners. It is one of the reasons why some Thai women seek a foreign partner. Yeah, they don't want to get the shit beat out of them. Who does? In the case of this man, it appears to have been driven by insecurity and jealousy, as the families were apparently well off and quite successful. The Thai wife seemed to be leading the idealized lifestyle that some Thai women only aspire to with a foreigner. All right, let's not. We don't need to keep going with this, but we do have this letter, and it is a lengthy one, so I don't know if I'll be able to get all through it, but I gotta put my glasses on. We got 27 people on here, which is not a huge number today, and only 13 thumbs up. Am I doing something wrong? Let me know. Tell me. Maybe I need to turn a light on. That's what it is. Oof. Now I gotta look at myself. Where should I start here? Why do Farang Thai marriages so often fail? No, because you never hear about those. Because they don't need to talk about it. If I want to talk about it, I would just say it's up and down. It's up and down. And the thing is you don't want the high highs and you don't want the low lows, at least in your relationship. You want it to be kind of like, you're on a lake and there's a little bit of, there's some small waves once in a while, but that's it. It's not an ocean in Hawaii where you've got these massive waves, 30 to 50 foot waves, and you're up and then you're down, and then you're up and then you're down. Who wants that drama in their life? Life is too hard, man. There's too many things to consider in life, and too many things that happen that are you can't control. Hang on a second. Now the door is open. You're on your own, pal. We closed the back door because the air conditioner, and we closed the bathroom door because the air conditioner, when the doors are open, the air doesn't get as cold. So when we close the doors, the air gets colder. However, the cat box is in the back, and so if the door is closed, Sid is left crying because he wants to go take a piss or a dump or whatever. So, how long have you been married, Fire Dude? Yeah, Janara, weren't you married to a Thai girl or something? What was it? I don't even have to get to this letter. I mean, there's little parts in it that I can get to, but I can save it and read it the next one. I mean, it's so long. Together 10 years, married 5. So yeah, I mean, my wife and I have been together about 23 years. And we've been married, like, formally with the embassy. I think it's... I don't even remember. I think it's 21 years now. So, but we've known each other for like 24, 25 years, and we were together the majority of the time. So that's the other thing, is that if you're going to get married, you better get married to someone who really values marriage, who values their family, who has a good example. Her mother was married and her father passed away. So she knew her father for a few years, and then he passed away. But her mother was always very strong in how she was a strong woman. And, my family's still together. They haven't been divorced. So I think that's something that you need to look at. If you go and you go, oh, my mother's, she's, now the man my mother's married to is not my father. Oh, really? Yeah. No, she's been divorced 3 times or whatever. Then, the chances of them following that pattern are pretty good. Irreconcilable differences. Yeah. I think that's something that's important. These irreconcilable differences, I think it's important to understand that in the beginning, most people who get married when they're very young, they don't think about, hey, when we get a little older, this is going to happen, and that's going to happen. They don't think about those things. They're thinking about, oh my God, she's the most beautiful girl, and she's so sweet, and she's so loving, and she wants 2 kids like me, and she's awesome. Yeah, I played house with a couple, you know. So, and those didn't work out, and I could tell you that there was one girl I was with, and quite honestly, she wasn't the brightest bulb. Uh, and that really irritated me. She was, you know, I don't want to say stupid, but she wasn't very smart. And after a while, if I was having a conversation or we were sitting with a group of people and something was said, and it was something like, wow, you really don't know that? I mean, not to be pretentious or act like I'm so much smarter, but like, if someone asks you, like, where is, what, or says something about like Africa being a big country, you gotta wonder. Now, in Thailand, it's a little different the way that they teach people, and that's something else you have to get through. My wife is not always the greatest with geography, but she has a grip on it a little bit. She knows where most places are. Most people who travel, they tend to learn, but one was just extremely lacking intellectually, and she turned out to be a bit of a drunk, and those were deal breakers for me, man. I mean, and the thing is I shacked up with her, and then it's like, okay, how do I extricate myself from this situation? I knew I didn't want to marry her. And then another one, she was a smoker. I'd never been a smoker, and I was just like, man, I can't handle this. I got to the point where I was like, I can't handle it. I can't handle the fact that she wants to smoke, and to me it was disgusting. I gotta kiss this chick. It's like kissing an ashtray, and eventually I that was it with her. I dumped her. I dumped her big. I dumped them both because I got to the point where I was like, this ain't gonna. It's never gonna go anywhere, and I'm starting to get pissed off. And they, I know some people, oh, gotta try to be friends with your exes. I got no reason to be friends with them. Where are they now? I haven't got a clue, and I don't care. Another one was before I came to Thailand, and I've told this story, and I've written about this. I said, you want to go to Thailand with me? Why would I go there? Third world shithole. They don't even speak English. And I went, this chick is not adventurous enough for me. She wanted to go to to Monaco, to go to the Monaco Grand Prix. And I was like, what the fuck do I want to go to that for? Stand around and watch a car go by. I'm like, I'm not going to fly all the way over to Monaco, piss away a bunch of money, all so I can watch a car go around and see some cars for, however long, and then have to wait for them to come back around, or if they do come around, I don't know. I just wasn't into it. Yeah, my parents have been married 61, 62 years. And in the old days, think about it. In the old days, people, what was it, like 1 in 5 got divorced, and it was 1 in 4. Now what is it, like 1 in 1.5 get divorced, So it's much different. And even in Thailand, the divorce rate is up. So don't get it twisted. But I would say, if you come here and you're like, first of all, and again, I have to preface this because there are too many people out there who will get butthurt if I don't say this. If you've married a bar girl, married a former go-go dancer, thank you, Richard. I agree. Thank you very much. You've kept me from being shut out today. Appreciate that. Uh, where the hell was I? I don't even remember. Oh, yeah. What was I talking about? I don't want to go. I didn't want to go to Monaco. And then when I did come to Thailand, I was like, holy shit, what am I doing? I was like, I'm not going to marry this girl. She doesn't want to marry me. I don't want to marry her. But, we're having a good time and we're shacked up. I'm like, so where's the future? I'm like, I went to Thailand and then it was like, I went twice and I went, that's it. I'm moving there. We're done. End of story. Goodbye. And she was like, yeah, okay, I understand. But if you are going to pull the trigger, and I'm not talking about living with a chick, because that's not really pulling the trigger all the way, because you can always just go, and that may be difficult to get her out, but, if you're playing house, like Gennaro likes to call it, here in Thailand, it's not always easy to get rid of them. And it might cost you some money. Depending on the woman, depending on, does she want to leave you or you want to leave her, or what's the deal? Did she cheat on you? Did you get caught cheating on her and she's just been like, that's it, we're done? Oh yeah, okay, thank you. That goes to show you my memory's not that great. If you want to come here and you want to marry somebody like that, what I always say is you better know what the hell you're doing. You better have insight into Thai culture. You really need to know what you're doing and how to play the game. Because if you don't know how to play the game and you're some newbie who oh my God, my girl's different, they are going to make mincemeat out of you. And on the off chance that it works, good for you. I hope it works. But the chances are slim. Slim to none. So don't go there for that. Go there to have fun. How many times I got to say this? I feel like I'm beating a dead horse. Go there to have fun. Do your thing. Get your rocks off. However many times, however many women you need to, spread your seed with, whatever. I understand the whole thing. I came here and by the second time I was like, what the hell am I doing with this chick? We're not going to go anywhere. And as soon as I got back, I went, you know what? It ain't working. And we're not going to go anywhere. Okay. I said, so I'm going to make arrangements. It'll be a little while. And, it's not like we didn't stop banging. We didn't stop. We just kept going until I left. So it wasn't like we were angry at each other. And then I heard some guy was with her after I left. One of my buddies goes, oh yeah, she's with this one guy that I know. I said, okay, good for her. I don't care. Didn't matter to me. I thought maybe, oh well, how am I going to feel? You always wonder, how am I going to feel if I, but I knew it wasn't going to go anywhere. So, and the thing is if you're going to come here and you expect to get married, well then, you better expect to integrate yourself into Thai society or meet them back in the States or whatever it might be. But you're going to have to play the game. Now, I'm not saying you can't do things your way, because believe me, I do a lot of things my way, and then sometimes I just go, it's not worth fighting over. It's not worth, arguing about. And that's really what it comes down to. Pick your battles carefully in a marriage. Make sure that you're with someone who will stick with you. And there is a time and place when a woman should leave or a man should leave. But for the most part, I think, you have to have that, hey, I'm pissed off at you, I'm really angry at you, and you go for a walk or whatever. You get away and you go for a day or two somewhere and you come back and you bang it out and everything's better. And you go, okay, listen, this really bothers me. whatever it might be. Would it be chowderhead move to pick up my bar girl and cradle her in my arms to cross the threshold of a short time room? Yeah, probably. Yeah. Oh God. Anyway, let me read a little bit of this because I need to. You might ask quite rightly, on what authority do I contribute my tittle tattle? Well, I've lived in Thailand for just over 30 years, have 2 failed marriages behind me, and am the father of a now 19-year-old child, or rather young man, abandoned by his mother soon after birth, and who I have taken care of from the age of 6 months. Now, I gotta say, don't take advice from guys who have been divorced several times. You know, don't take your financial advice from me. I'm not loaded. I don't have millions of dollars. You know, we are comfortable. And sometimes, comfort means sacrificing some things. I'm not a multimillionaire, and so don't take your financial advice. I haven't made it in the stock market. Don't take it from me. Why would you take it from somebody who's been divorced several times? Sorry. When it comes to Tom has been married many, many times. Patty Bob has been married many times. I would never take advice from them when it comes to getting married. Especially Tom. You know, Patty Bob is a bit sharper. He's a lot sharper when it comes to this subject. But like, I would never take Tom's advice. That's why when he starts talking about women, I just go, you know. There's no need to. I think he's been married 4 times, 5 times. This is 4th marriage, 5th marriage. Obviously, there's a problem. There's a relationship problem. Now, as difficult as I may be, and maybe it's I picked the right woman, maybe it's my wife really loves me, you know, whatever it might be. We're not divorced. We haven't got divorced. We don't want to get divorced. Now, sometimes she might want to tear my eyes out, and sometimes I might be like shaking my head, just going, I can't handle this. You know, there's certain things that we do that irritate each other, and we try to just keep those to a minimum. One of the things that she does, in the morning, I'm in my own zone, and it's peaceful, and all of a sudden I hear some stupid Thai soap opera. And the girls whining and crying like they do on the Thai soap operas. And I'm like, or I'm hearing some kind of little, what are they? I don't even know what they call it. You know, the J-pop, K-pop, T-pop, whatever the hell it might be. Or La Lisa or one of these kind of groups. And I'm like, turn that shit down. Put your headphones on. I can't handle it. It's too much for too early in the morning. I want peace and quiet. I don't want to hear that kind of stuff. So I have to just tell her. And in the beginning, I'd be like, turn that shit down. Now I don't do that. Now I'm like, please, turn that down. It's grating on my nerves. And Lord knows how many things I do that irritate her, because I'm sure there's a hell of a lot. So many that I can't even remember. But, you know, that's the thing. Do youngsters have the stick-to-itness? Or, especially with women, oh, I'm going to find another guy. And it's like, a lot of them, they're not going to. They're not going to find another guy. And if they do... Boy. Wow. I don't know what happened to my towel. Whew. Yeah, some people snore. Not me. Yesterday, I came home from the gym, had my meal, did a couple things, and I'm like, God, I'm so tired. So I sit down on the sofa. Alex is there. We're talking. Next thing you know, I'm nodding off. I wake up. The wife's coming home. I go, oh, it's really early. She goes, it's 7:30. I go, oh, boom, right back to sleep. Then the next thing I know, I wake up. It's like 8 o'clock, and she goes, "All right, bye." I go, "Where are you guys going?" Because she's with Alice. Going to the gym. Wake up at 10 o'clock again. You know, I'm exhausted. Now, she didn't try to wake me up, nor would she. And believe me, when she came home, I was like, "Oh, you guys are home." I got up, got some like water, brushed my teeth, and 2 seconds later, I'm asleep. Yeah, the sneezing can be annoying. So can farting, burping. You know, all these bodily functions can be annoying. Um, I would not get married again. I am happily single. For 14 years, I love my life. And how old are you? Just curious. If you don't want kids, then I don't know why you would need to get married. $55. Okay. There's still time. Yeah, I do fall asleep quick. When I'm tired, I'm tired. I know, like today, I'm going to be exhausted. I have 3 or 4 errands to run, and I have to, well, I don't have to, but in my mind, I have to go to the gym. And by the time I come back home, have my meal, I'm going to be exhausted. I can tell you that. I already know. So let me continue here. Let's get done with the food part, although it's certainly not the most important. Okay, now this one I don't agree with this because you can eat whatever you want here in Thailand. Now some guys, oh, I love Thai food, and they want to eat Thai food all the time. Okay, I'm just not that way. I'm not built that way. I love Thai food. It is one of my most favorite cuisines, if not my favorite. Probably Italian would be my favorite. And guess what? I haven't had any Italian food in probably 6 months. So, you know, that's something. But this guy's talking about Pla Kapong, Samrut, Pak Papai, Naman Hoi, Mi Mak Mai Katiam, Khao Soy. Well, I do like Khao Soy. Wherever we come from on this planet, most of us are used to the 3 meals a day rule. Not me. Not anymore. For some, the main meal is at lunchtime, for others in the evening, but almost invariably, it is a family gathering around the table at usually well-set hours, and we like the dishes to be hot. Not consumed leftovers will go in the fridge and be heated up the next day and even improved upon by adding spices, garlic, onion in the process. Blah, 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 blah. Let me see here. Thais have no set time on the matter. They tend to eat whenever the fancy takes them. You know, I don't know what this guy's talking about. I know a lot of Thais, they eat the same time every day. When they do sit together for meals, it's pretty unconventional way. Plates are presented at random. Plates are presented at random when ready, and rice is served out of the large bowl to gathering of people. Ooh. Such a reunion, enjoying good food, can take an hour or hours, and is analogous to a social family event. And may I add, very enjoyable if you're able to participate in the very animated conversation. Perishable leftovers are often and sadly just put in the bin as Thais of older generations refuse to eat food out of the refrigerator. All right, listen. I don't know about you guys. And maybe it's because I'm an American in Bangkok. And while I have integrated myself into Thai society, I think that my family has a fair amount of Americanisms in our household. One of our Americanisms is that we have our own shit going on. We're not out in the village with grandma and grandpa and the next door neighbor. And we don't have that. We don't want that. The last thing I want is a bunch of people sitting at my dinner table that I barely know, or that are, they're just there because it's some free food, or because they feel like they want somebody to talk to. That can be nice when it's the people you want there. And I'm not saying that your neighbors might not be great and, you shouldn't do that once in a while. But what I will say is that, first of all, if you have a family, if I have a family, first of all, I would rather eat with my family than with a bunch of other people that I don't really know. Granted, you can get to know them, but my circle is small, and I like to keep it that way because I don't want Som Chai and his wife and their kids coming over every other day because they want something to eat. But here in our village, sometimes we get fruit from down on the farm. Guess what we do? We go down, excuse me, we go down to the landlord, we give some fresh fruit. We go across the street to a couple of the ladies who had the noodle shops. We give them some stuff. And guess what? During Songkran, usually we get some stuff. During Chinese New Year, we get the little cakes, and we get the moon cakes. We get all kinds of stuff. Went down the wrong way. Now that's fine. But we don't have our neighbors coming over to eat with us, nor do I want them to. Now, if my wife said to me, so-and-so from across the street, her daughter's graduating and she wanted to know if we'd come over to dinner. Maybe I would do it. Yes. You're talking about Kanom Jeep. There's a Kanom Jeep lady down the way. I don't eat it anymore. I'm sure they all think that, why doesn't he come here anymore? I haven't eaten any noodles. I haven't eaten any Kanom Jeep. I haven't eaten any of that stuff. My wife makes Kanom Chin. And she makes it very good, and it's hard to pass up. But anyway, the point is that why am I different? Well, yeah, I'm different. Because my girl's different. The reason I'm different is because most of the time I'm concerned about my own food. The kids, we buy stuff for them, or Alex now. We don't really buy anything for Nicholas unless we know he's coming over for sure. We make sure we have something that he's going to like to eat. And it depends on when he comes. We may not eat together. Sometimes we do eat together. We have our own things going on. Now, out in the village, maybe, everybody is doing the same thing at 6 o'clock at night, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. They just come together and eat. Because they're done on the farm, they're done running errands, they come home from work, whatever it might be. And, this is the thing. Like, yesterday I had a big piece of chicken, a salad, and an omelet with red onions, garlic, a little bit of sausage, and some cheese. That was my whole meal. That's what I ate all day yesterday. That's all I ate. That and my coffee. Now, being that my wife comes home later, She's already got her meals prepared. She's got meals prepared for Alex. There's in the refrigerator. Alex just goes in, puts them in the microwave for 45 seconds. They're done. He eats, done. Every morning he has a breakfast. What's his breakfast? You think he's eating Thai food? No. He eats cereal. Well, when the kids were smaller and they were both home, and I was taking care of everything in the family, and my wife stayed home before she started working. Every night I would come home from the gym, she would know I'll be home around this time. I think I used to come home around 7. She'd be in the kitchen cooking something up. Oh, it'll be done in 5 minutes. It'll be done in 10 minutes, you know. And, you know, it was nice. We all ate together, you know, we did our thing. But even then, we didn't always eat Thai food because, I guess because we're 50-50. We are Luke Krung in this family. My kids are 50-50. They want some Farang food. They like their spaghetti. They like gnocchi. They like burgers, you know. They like my wife's omelet, which is a Thai omelet, and they like my omelet, which I can make a Thai omelet. But usually I put some onion, I'll put some tomato, I'll put some garlic, I'll put some cheese, and boom, cook up a nice omelet. They like that too. They like the Western breakfast, the American breakfast. They like that, but if my wife says we got fried pork with garlic and sticky rice, they'll eat that as well. So, as far as the food goes, I think it depends on where you are and what your lifestyle is. I don't think they're all like this. Now, I guess if you are married to an Isaner and you're retired and you're never, you know, most of the time you're at home at night, well, then I would think that the meals would be similar. It's too bad Jim's not here right now because he could tell us what his evening is like being where he is. And you know, I know that he tends to spend time with their family. My wife's family's down in the south, and they don't come up here very often, and we don't go down there very often. Not because oh well, we can't stand each other. No, it has nothing to do with that. It's because we got our own things going on. They're down there, they're in the rubber fields, working, and we don't always have the time to go down there. But I will say that when we are down there, we do tend to eat like Thais. We sit around on a platform and we'll have sticky rice and we'll have some down there. We'll have like a curry and we'll have some fish and we'll have some other kind of meat or whatever. And yeah. Anyway, I don't know where the food comes in. The food is important, but most guys, if they're a little bit older, they should be able to fend for themselves. Introduction of fast food chains and convenience store everywhere these days. Old habits are vastly disappearing, and live today, never mind about tomorrow generation, adapted by the under 30-year-olds, have thoroughly upset the old ways. Farang Thai marriages do not usually break up over such trivial matters as food on the table. No. Rather than analyze the cause of breakups and death, here are a few examples of Thai Farang reunions. Make your own judgments. I'd like to stress the following stories are not often seen lying, cheating, stealing, bar girl variety. Nevertheless, they do not present Thai ladies in the most favorable light. Now, let me just say one thing before I continue. I said this yesterday. Just because they're a bar girl doesn't mean they're terrible. They might be a nice girl. They might be actually sweet, but they might be in a bad situation. Now, you can choose to include yourself in that situation, or you can choose not to. Just because a girl is working at, an office, let's say she works at the, I don't know, what's that one that they always have? I don't know. Let's say she works at John Deere. Right? She's a parts sales girl. my example. That doesn't mean that she's a great girl and she's never going to want any money. She may not be the type who goes, give me money every month. But she will expect that you take decent care of her and that you at least do your share, if not more. Now, let me just see if I can find this. Oh, this was a long one, eh? Okay. Let me just read this. You supposedly met your Thai girlfriend to become a wife. I don't know where that assumption is made. Most guys meet a Thai girl. What am I going to say? What am I going to say? I don't, you know. You supposedly met your Thai girlfriend to become your wife. Let's just assume that that's true. Most likely because she was pretty, shapely, smiling, and easy to please, and at the beginning, no strings attached. Okay, if you say so. So much is obvious. Her reasons to marry you were quite different. You were seen as kind of a launching pad into a better life for the often northeastern girl and her family you married along with her, and especially her mother. The modest sum of money you transferred monthly to her to look after the poor Isan family, including possibly a child she had with the former Thai boyfriend or husband, did not bother you much at first. Listen, I got news for you. Do not hook up with some chick, unless you're an older guy, because your options are going to be more limited. You're an older guy and you're getting a chick who's like 35. She probably has a kid or two. She probably popped out a kid or two, right? But if you're some guy and you're 24 years old, don't hook up with some chick who's 21 and she's got 2 kids. Don't be an idiot. There's no reason for it nowadays. You know, have your fun with her and say, no more, no more. That's it. We're just having fun. I don't want nothing serious, baby. You know, I want you to understand that. I want to be honest with you. The honeymoon period, whether there was an actual one or not, would last for months, sometimes years, and in an ideal world, forever. It does happen. But not often, and that is what this is about. Sometimes it's the increased demands for money that creates the first discord. When they are reasonable, you will consent for a time, like sickness or hospital expenses for a parent. The sick buffalo, leaking roof, or brothers' motorcycle accident stories have now become an urban legend, and even the most gullible Farang have caught on to it. How many of you guys would actually give money to a chick when she goes, my buffalo died, we're in bad shape here, honey? Sorry. Buffalo died, the buffalo died. Go get yourself another one. A friend of mine on his yearly visit up north was told the buffalo had died and there was no way to work in the fields. He generously went out and purchased a small tractor for the family, a considerable expense. He explained to them how to work it and all about the maintenance. On his next 2 visits, 2 years later, the tractor was rustling away at the far end of the field. Sorry, no money to was rusting away at the far end of the field. Sorry, no money to pay for petrol. A frequent issue is the fact that many Thais are unable, or at least very poor at handling money. Jan bought a house in a newly created and fairly large estate in Phuket in the late 90s. His wife suggested adding a small extension to the house where she would operate a small convenience store intended to serve the large community. It was before the explosion of 7-Elevens all around. Jan went about planning and building. Finally stocked up the place in everyday items for the large neighborhood. Naturally, I've heard these stories a million times, especially this one. Naturally, he expected his wife to keep a book with takings and expense. Never heard of such a thing, she replied. In her world, taking equals proceeds or profit. Jan tried to explain. Project had to be purchased from the wholesaler. Then there was overhead and operating costs like a salary. of the girl that replaced her when she was absent, electricity, and other bills to pay. But I thought you'd take care of all that, was her reply. Jan stopped paying supplier bills. The wife got tired working long hours for what she called was nothing, and the place fell to ruin, and Jan left for greater pastures. Okay. That happens a lot. People just think, oh, I don't have to, I sold 10,000 baht worth of stuff today. Yeah, but the profit is 1,500. You got to keep that 8,500 or more to continue to purchase products. The price might go up. You got to be prepared. Okay. Let me just continue here. We got a few minutes left. Now, what is this? Lawyers in the land of smile are not known for their infallible integrity. Yeah, I can tell you that firsthand. Oh yeah, you don't have to pay more than 30,000 baht. And then 2 weeks I need some more money. But you already paid the 30 grand. What are you talking about? No, you're not getting any more money. In fact, to put it more bluntly, some of them are plain corrupt. That is not the case in our Western homelands, where lawyers are honest and well-respected individuals. Say what? You ever heard of ambulance chasers? And not cheap, I may add. Eves was one of them, practicing his trade in his home country in Central Europe until he turned 50. Following a contentious divorce with his wife of over 20 years, Eves decided to take a sabbatical year off to realize his lifelong dream to travel eastward overland on his state-of-the-art BMW motorbike. Not an easy venture. A meticulous individual in all respects, it took Eves months of organizing the journey and a lot of paperwork to obtain the necessary documents, mostly visas. The first part of the travel went without a hitch, people admiring his machine everywhere. It would take a book, I believe he is writing now, to describe the innumerable adventures that followed, including an unfortunate accident in Pakistan that left him 3 long weeks in a hospital bed. But then, followed by mostly positive things to tell, especially the helpfulness of people on the latter part of his journey and through the subcontinent. Eventually, after a year, he reached Thailand, where he intended further exploring. For several months, he traveled Thailand from north to south with many more stories to tell. I had originally met him shortly after his arrival in Bangkok, sitting at a bar along Sukhumvit. We exchanged emails and kept in touch, meeting again occasionally in Bangkok and once in Phuket. But Thailand being Thailand, it is inevitable for Eves to meet a young lady and fall in love. After several months of courting, he proudly announced his upcoming nuptials. Elated and overjoyed to marry the daughter of a much-respected family. He was not a poor man and had transferred significant sums to Thailand. He built a house in Chonburi province where they lived for some time. Unfortunately, and partially due to the extremely expensive taste of his wife for cars and other toys, plus lavish parties given to her friends and family, often in 5-star hotels with Eves footing the bills, the reunion soured after only a few years. Jesus Christ, why would he marry her? Oh, baby, if you don't give me this Gucci watch, I'm gonna die. Not the watch, the purse. Let's say purse. Gucci watch is shit. Sorry, Gucci. A divorce was initiated. As a man of the law in his home country, he wanted to clearly follow proceedings, so Eves hired an interpreter at his own cost. The wife's family lawyer started to spin a tale of physical and emotional abuse. No proof was presented. Eves was shocked and disgusted. It wasn't true. In most Western countries, these accusations would have been dismissed as fabricated lies, worse, perjury. Eves' denial of tortuous liability toward the family was dismissed. By that time, however, he had been long enough in Thailand to understand that he would more easily grow palm trees or sunflowers at the North Pole than win the court case opposing him to a so-called influential family. Reluctantly, he abandoned the fight. Divorce was granted with all the blame on his behalf. He lost not only his wife that he still cared for, along also his not unsubstantial local fortune, most of it in the form of a lavishly built house in compensation to the lady. He returned to Europe with little choice other than practicing again as a lawyer at now close to 60 years of age. Yeah. There you go. Remember the Irishman who won the lottery and the Thai family took almost every penny from him? That's why you keep a separate bank account and you don't give her access to it and you don't tell her where the bank book is and you don't do this and you don't do that. There's a host of things you can do. Protect your ass. CYA, motherfuckers. CYA. Don't be a bitch. Don't let the woman leave you in tatters. Anyway, thank you very much. Keep leaving them thumbs up. I appreciate it. Become a member of the channel. Check out the description, yada, yada, yada. All I'll say in closing is that, marriage is not for everyone. And I think if you look at the character of some people, maybe you can determine whether or not you're going to succeed in marriage. No, she's not. She's not in charge of the finances. She takes care. We have our agreements about what we take care of. I take care of the household expenses. And that it works just fine for us, most of the time. Every once in a while we're like, hey. And yeah. It really depends on the person that you pick. That's what it works out to be. Every woman is going to be difficult at times. Every guy is going to be a little difficult for them. I don't care what any of you says. Over the course of 30 years, 25 years, 30 years, 50 years, you think you're going to be married and you're never going to have any disagreements and you're just going, oh, I love her so much. She's perfect. No, you're going to be like, of course I love her. That's why I stay with her. But, it doesn't mean it's perfect all the time. I mean, I talk to people who've been married for 50, 60 years, and they say the same damn thing. Sometimes they can't. What was it? I just saw this thing. I was just looking through Netflix, and I saw this Oprah Winfrey thing, and it was like, they show you the trailer on Netflix, and I saw Michelle Obama, and I thought, oh, what do these freaking ladies want to say? And I guess Michelle Obama posted something to the effect of, I've been married 30 years, and for 10 years, 10 years out of this 30, I couldn't stand my husband. Now, I don't know, I think that's a bit extreme, and that woman should never speak like that publicly. But, there are times when you're not always going to get along, not always see eye to eye, not always think you need to do the same things. And that's just, but the way that you get through it is you need to know your roles. You need to know how to deal with certain situations, how the best way to go about doing it. And I will say this, you need to be the man. And I don't mean you need to be some misogynistic piece of shit. You don't need to be this guy telling her, you will do this, you will do that. But you need to make sure that she knows, hey, this is how we think. And if you think along the same lines, then I think you have a lot better chance to get along and to stay together. And if you have the feeling that marriage is it's something that's extremely important, it should not be overlooked. It should not be something that you jump into hastily. And for all the people that, I knew my wife for a week and we got married and we've been married 50 years. Listen, most of the time that shit don't fly. Because there's some turd in the closet that you stumble onto. So, as I always say, give it time and all things shall be revealed. And not only that, Why do you think the girls take one of their girlfriends with them on like a first date or a second date sometimes? Why do you think they want to do that? Well, now, first of all, it may be because the girlfriend is like, listen, you may be extremely turned on to this guy. You may want to do things. You may want to hook up with him, but not right away. You need to give it a little time. And they're there as a buffer. Not only that, they got a second set of eyes on you. So they're checking you out. They're listening to how you talk. They're listening and go, the woman that you're with might go, oh, he's so wonderful. He's the best guy. And the girlfriend is going, did you see when he said that? Did you see the look on his face? I think he's full of shit. I think you need to wake up, girl. That's what they're doing it for. And, if they're a good girlfriend and, hey, well, okay, well, let's see how he is about paying the bill. Oh, okay, she pays her bill, you pay your bill, I pay my bill. Well, that shit don't fly in Thailand unless the chick is like, no, I will pay. Okay, up to you, So, anyway, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate you watching. It's about time for me to say, choke di leo jerk and mai. That's good luck and see you later. That's tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday, and I'm taking Saturday and Sunday off from streaming. At least I believe so. Because I am knackered. I'll be honest. I'm extremely exhausted, and it comes from working out, thinking about what to talk about, doing the stream, having a chat with you guys and girls. I'm sure there's a girl or two out there. It just, and I'm getting older. And I do feel it. I need to start getting massages more often, so that's going to start happening. So maybe I'll take you guys to the massage parlor with me. So you can see all the old ladies with their sausage fingers. Because I'm sure you really want to see that. But you will see that it's still reasonably priced here. 179 baht per hour. So what's that work out to for 2 hours? That's about 360. That's about, it's like 11, 12 bucks, right? 12 bucks, 11.50, something like that. Anyway, English Rose is a girl. Oh, okay. Well, thank you for joining us, English Rose. I always appreciate the new people coming in. That's great. And I will say this. Well, she could be a rose. She could be a he. Who knows? Very hard to tell from the channel. Just because someone puts a photo up that looks like a chick doesn't mean they're a chick. It might be his wife's account. Who knows? I don't know. Doesn't matter. Whatever. Next time she comes in, or he comes in, or whoever comes in, the English Rose comes in, you can ask. That's all. $12 is a large bowl of chowder locally. Yeah, for 12 bucks you can get a lot of soup here. And it actually, it's not, some cow soy sounds really, really good today. I don't want to eat noodles though, but it might be nice. But I got meat sitting out, and I gotta cook it up, and that's my meal for the day. Meat is love. Isn't that what the saying is? Meat is love. Eating meat is love. And I don't mean that in a sexual context, Mr. 2/4 Asian. So, anyway, the truth about Farang Thai marriages. Well, the truth is that if you really want it to work, and if she really wants it to work, then it'll work. If you don't, it ain't gonna. If you're one of these, that fat bitch, I can't believe she didn't have my dinner ready. Well, then, no potatoes for me. Then it's not gonna work. But if you're like, all right, let's just put it into context. She didn't make dinner for me tonight. she was exhausted from, running the kids around or something. And she came home, she fell asleep on the sofa, and she didn't cook for you. What are you going to do? You're going to divorce her for that? I mean, that's the kind of stupid shit some people get divorced for in the States. And in here, too. Here. I mean, the divorce rate's gone up quite a bit here. In the old days, and I remember many times, and even recently, if you talk to people, certain Thais about being married and getting a divorce, their attitude is, no, you can't get a divorce. You can't. They have the mentality that when you marry, there's a reason why you get married. And there are some all the people who concentrate on all the bad Thai women and, oh my God, she cheated on me and she left because a guy had a bigger Johnson, he had more money, whatever it is. For all those stories, there are many, many times over, there are Thai women who are extremely loyal and faithful, and all they care about is their kids. Is everybody happy? Do they got plenty of food on the table? That's what they care about. So that's what you got to look for if you really want to do that. Now, that said, if you're somebody like 2/4 Asian who has made his mind up and said, I don't want to get married, well, then don't. There's no reason why you can't have a special friend, a friend with benefits, or just a friend you really want. And let's face it, by the time you get to be 75, 80 years old, getting laid is probably not the most important thing. So if you got somebody who genuinely cares about you, maybe she's a friend of a friend and she wants to help you out, well then, whatever. And maybe if you're lucky, she'll help you out in many other ways. Anyway, I gotta go. All right, so I will talk to you guys later. Thank you again. Chok di leo jerk mai. Until next time, I'm Scott. I'm an American in